Okay, third graders, we are ready to do math lesson 132. I gave you a really long video for lesson 131. Hopefully this one won't be quite as long. And remember to finish doing lesson 131 and 132's worksheets before you take the quiz. And make sure mom or dad either sends me a picture of your last two worksheets and lets me check over them before you start your quiz, or they check over them and make sure that you're ready, because I want to kind of make sure that either I or another adult make sure that you're on the right track before you take your quiz. Okay, today we're going to be doing another review about how to take 1/3 of a number that isn't exactly going to work out perfectly. We know their answer is going to be a mixed number, which is a whole number and a fraction. Okay, so we did some of these just on the last video. So the first thing you do is division. You take your big number, 13, and you divide by whatever your denominator is, 3. Okay, how many times can 3 go into 13? 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. So that's my remainder, and I'm writing it as a fraction. 1, and then that's my denominator, 3. So we know our answer is 4 and 1/3. Okay? Now, 1/4 of 10. It's not going to work out perfectly, so we're going to do a little division problem below. 10, that's a weird 0, or whatever. 10 divided by 4. Okay, could 4 go into 10? How many times? Twice. 4 times 2 is 8, and then 10 minus 8 is 2. Now, 2 over 4 is my remainder, but let me ask you a question. Look at that, 2/4. Can 2/4 be reduced? I'm asking you if there's a number that could go into both 2 and 4 that we could divide by to give us a smaller looking fraction. It's not changing the size of the actual fraction, it's just giving it in a lower number. 2 and 4. Is there anything that can go into 2 and 4 that we could use to divide? We could divide the top and bottom by 2. And if I did that, that's reducing, I would have 1/2. And isn't 2/4 the same as 1/2? But I'm not putting this big hot mess up into my answer, wherever I am. I'm not putting that into my answer. That's crazy. A teacher or a parent or yourself, you're not gonna be able to know what your actual answer is. So this little part where I was working, that's not going into my answer. My answer is 2, and then I reduce that, so in 1/2. So all I'm putting in my answer is my whole number and my fraction after I reduced it, 2 and 1/2. And this one, we didn't have to reduce. That's why I didn't ask you those same questions. This one could be reduced, so that's why I asked you. Okay, the other thing is we're gonna be doing a lot of Roman numeral practice. So if you're feeling a little rusted on your Roman numerals, some of them you're not sure what they are, why don't you look in the back of your book? I wrote this down, so I'm pretty sure this is right. Check on page 378 in the back. Remember I told you to always have your book with you when you're watching a video. So open up to 378 if you need any reminders about what the different Roman numerals are. And I know I probably look like, Dora the Explorer, like staring at the empty screen, but I really am waiting for you to make answers out loud. So I want you to be trying to answer, even though I know I really can't hear you. Let's just pretend, okay? So the first one says LIV. L means what? 50. And then whenever you have a little less value, one in front of a bigger value, that's subtraction. So that would be 5, take away 1, so 4. So you said this was 50, and then IV is 4, so put that together and you should have 54. Okay, this one, CII. Do you remember what C stands for in Roman numerals? 100. So that would be 100, and then II, that's just 2. So what is it? 102. Okay, what about just the letter M by itself? M is a lot. M is the big one. M is 1,000. Okay, now XIX. Remember what I said over here. Whenever there's an I in front of something, you're taking away from that something. So what is X anyways? 10. So if I have 10, and then I have 10 minus 1, that's 9. So what is a 10 and a 9? This is 19. 19. Okay, D. This is another pretty big one. All by itself, 500. So D is 500, M is 1,000. Okay, here, did you know this was subtraction? Because I have an X, which only means 10, in front of a C, which is 100, so I have to take away from that. So if I am at 100 and I back up 10, that's like counting backwards by 10, so that would be 90, right? 90 what? What's V? 5, so 95. All right, this one, 3 X's in a row, what would that be? Count by tens, 10, 20, 30. And then we said IX is taking away from the X would be 9. So put that together, 39. Okay, here we have CD. CD. So we know C is 100 and D is 500. So this is a smaller in front of the larger, so you have to take away. So I'm at 500, back up 100. 400. This would be 400. Okay, VIII. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. And the last one, M and M, what would be 2 M's? If M is 1,000, then 2 M's would be 2,000. Okay, so that's just a little review for you. And then the last part right here that I have is actually section 1 in your worksheet page. So if you want to grab that, we're on lesson 132, and this is section 1, and I want to do it with you. So grab your worksheet, grab a pencil, and I will read the directions. It says, draw a triangle around the whole numbers, a trapezoid around the fractions, and a right angle around the mixed numbers. Okay, so let's start with just the first part. It says draw a triangle around the whole numbers. That's easy. Okay, so triangle around the whole numbers. Whole number is just a whole number by itself. It doesn't have a fraction by it. So that's not, but this is. And they told us to draw a triangle. Of course, I didn't give myself very much room, so it's going to have to be a skinny triangle. Triangle, that's a whole number. Looking for more whole numbers. No, no. Okay, so oh my goodness, strange. Okay, so I have the same thing you have. I just had to put mine in 2 rows because I couldn't fit it all in 1 row. But, so you should have 2 triangles, the 16 and the 48. Okay, so that was the first part of the directions. The next part of the directions said to draw a trapezoid around any fractions. So remember, fractions are a numerator over a denominator, but there's no whole number with it. And a trapezoid, do you remember what a trapezoid is? A trapezoid starts out looking kind of like a square, right? But then the last side is angled, so it looks like this. That's a trapezoid. And that's what we're writing around any fraction. So that's a trapezoid. Oh, look, I just saw another whole number. Let's put a triangle around that. I can't do a triangle around 42. Wow. Okay, here's another trapezoid for a fraction. Remember, start it out like you're making a square, but make that last side angled. That's a fraction. So we have triangles around our whole numbers. Hopefully yours look better than mine. And then trapezoids on your fractions. And then mixed numbers. So that would be a whole number with a fraction. They want you to do a right angle. It's just like a giant L. Right angle. Right angle. Right angle. Okay, and that's section 1. So you're already started on your worksheet now.